If you are female and athletic and thinking that you might be about to start menopause, in menopause, struggling with menopause, then this video is for you. Today, I have a guest joining us. She's amazing, and she has an offer that you are not going to want to miss. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Hi, everyone, and thank you for coming back to the channel. My name is Deb Day, and you know that we're all about health, fitness, inspiration, and all the fun things over the age of 50. Unfortunately, one of those things happens to be menopause. And I would like to welcome Stacy to the video. But first, before I give her a chance to introduce and share a little bit about herself, I just wanted to tell you how we met. I started running when I was 56, and it was more or less an accidental thing where a friend invited me to a run and said, "It's okay, you can walk." It doesn't do just walks. What I wasn't expecting, and was actually one of the biggest blessings for me in the years to come, was that Stacy just doesn't be a race director. She builds communities. She builds communities of support that just sort of suck you in, where you do socials and you learn to run and you meet the people you might meet. And the atmosphere was so engaging, so contagious, that the following year, I started volunteering for those runs and thoroughly loved it. But Stacy brings something else. She brings education. She brings things like learning how to pick a running shoe. What about knee braces? And if she doesn't have the information, she'll bring people that does. Learning what it means to pick up a sports bra. Might sound simple, but to somebody who's never worn one, maybe not so much. Things about body positivity, so much. And then I learned that she has another group, and she's going to share about that. So Stacy, can you please share a little bit of information about yourself and let the folks know what you have in store for us?
Absolutely. And thank you for that. It feels really good when you hear somebody saying such nice things about your passion, and it's funny because everything you said about the community, that's what I'm hoping to do with this Learn to Run Through Menopause. So you did call me Stacy. I prefer when people call me Coach Stacy. But you've heard me say this before. I like that because then you immediately have to acknowledge you're an athlete. If I'm your coach, or you're hanging out with me, you're an athlete. And it only takes having a body to be an athlete. You don't have to be uber anything. So right now, I actually am in the middle of perimenopause. And just like with Soul Sisters, we created a community of women that were really just being brought together to share the experience of walking or running and all the knowledge that comes with that. I wanted to create a very similar thing for menopause because I'm in perimenopause. And when I realized or understood that I had started with symptoms and that sort of thing, no one was talking about menopause and I had no resources. I'm an athlete who loves sharing knowledge, sharing my experiences. And until perimenopause, I did that. I helped people run, whether they were young girls, middle-aged women, older women, like everyone on the whole life gamut. But I didn't know anything about menopause. So I wanted to educate myself and then educate everyone around me and get a group of women, create a community that talked about what we were going through. And even when you were introducing me and you said, and I'm sure you didn't even realize this, you said, unfortunately, with menopause. So menopause is very hard. It is the hardest thing that I've gone through yet. But it's a transition and it doesn't have to be a negative thing. And that's one of the things I plan to address in my Learn to Run Through Menopause is what society has made us think we're supposed to believe about menopause. Instead of, unfortunately, like you're stronger now, Deb, you're a fierce, strong woman who shares all your knowledge. And it wasn't, not unfortunately, it's a rite of passage that if we live long enough, we all get. And how lucky are we? Because I would rather go through this really hard thing and be, doing what I want to do with improvements and all. So I've already forgotten the question, but that's my answer.
Wonderful. So what is the program and why should all the ladies be looking at pushing that registration button?
Sure. Well, first off, it's free. So that would be the number one reason to push the registration button. It's the only thing I think in this world that is free and amazing. And I'm going to say what it is, but I want to acknowledge my shirt that says, "Think marathons are hard. That's cute. Just wait for menopause." Just wait for it. So it's a 9-week program. And when you learn to run, you follow a certain format. So this is actually 2 programs into one. So we're literally going to learn to run. Now, I do invite anyone that wants to learn to walk to also come, because the thing is, even though I would love to make everyone a runner, you have to walk before you run. So this is not an example of when your friend said that you could come to Soul Sisters and you could just walk. This is just move. So we'll start with walking and then hopefully get to running. Anyway, so that's the physical part of it. We'll meet once a week, if people are able to, on Thursdays, and we'll work out, we'll build up. For example, the first week, it's three runs of 5 minutes walk, 5-minute run, 5-minute walk. Anyway, I won't get into the super technical, but it really eases you into a 5-kilometer at the end of 9 weeks. But what's new and what I think is the real meat of it is every week we're going to have a topic. There are 34 common menopause symptoms, and that's just the common ones. So I can't possibly pick all the topics that might relate to a woman, because every woman's experience is different. But again, with that community, we'll build in time that we can share and help each other. But the 9 topics that I have picked that I think are 100% universal, like the first one is menopause overview. So that's a really big topic to try to distill into one session. So I keep it very macro and hit a lot of the things to explain why things are happening in your body and those symptoms. And then things like how to talk to your doctor, how to talk to your coach, because for some women, there's a shame with menopause, with aging, that shouldn't be there, but it is there. That's natural. And they don't know how to have the conversation. For example, I have a Facebook group for any menopausal woman called My Best Friend's Menopause. I really liked how that sounded, because we should be our own best friend. We always advocate for our best friends in a way that we don't for ourselves. But it's actually my very best friend in the whole world went through menopause, and I didn't know. She went through it very young. At 46, she was in menopause. So for most women, they start perimenopause between 36 and 45, and here she was 46. So it's not uncommon, but it is unusual. Like that, for example, the average age in Canada of menopause is 51 and a half. So 46, she's in menopause. She didn't tell me, she didn't tell anyone. And later, when I started having my symptoms, that's when she told me what she had been through. And then she was a bit of a guide for me. So anyway, knowledge is power. So the overview, sure. Then week 2, we talk about weight gain and body image and how that changes. And it's, we are living in a world where body positivity is finally something we're working on. But when you suddenly put on weight and you don't know why, and you suddenly start doing too much exercise and too much dieting because you're trying to just get back to who you were, who you've always been, we got to talk about that and what that does to our mindset in a way to embrace. And anyway, I'll save the course for later. Week 3, we talk about sex, and there's a lot that is within that topic. We talk the next week on sleep, heart health, the gut microbiome, nutrition basics. There's a lot of stuff each week to keep you coming back. So maybe you're already a really advanced athlete like yourself, Deb. You don't need to learn to run. Maybe you need a kickstart because we've had the world's worst winter ever, but you don't need me to help you to run, but maybe you need me to help with information. And then you think, well, I'm postmenopausal. How does this apply to me? This course is for someone who doesn't even recognize she's in perimenopause yet. I've got a gal, 40, her birthday was last Friday, she turned 40. She has no symptoms yet. She wants to educate herself so that when she gets there, she knows what's going on. And also she can put some things in place right now through the course that can help her with body composition later, or sort of mitigate some of the changes that will come with the hormonal fluctuations. So we want someone who's nowhere near perimenopause, menopausal, and postmenopausal. And I use the word menopause. Hopefully your viewers know menopause is just one moment in time. It's the exact 12 months since you've had a period, but you have all these other stages, and it's just easier right now to say menopause, menopausal. So that's what it is. And it's a free course because I wanted to share this, everything. I've been taking all these online courses. I've been reading. I have completely saturated myself for the past 2 years with so much information. And I wanted to just distill it down and share it. And by having to actually type it all up and create my presentation and link to podcasts and all this, it's helping me also to revisit all the things that I learned 2 years ago. I remember most of it, but I don't remember everything. So it'll help me to share it. And so back to why it's free. It's so important. I really want to promote this. They don't ask you to, but it's Canadian Women in Sport. They have a WISE fund because they want to support girls and women in athletics. And there are 2 times that women and girls stop working out: when their period starts and when their period stops. So I went to them and asked for this grant because nobody is talking about menopause. So I want to get all of you gals, whether you're in this moment, past this moment, but just want knowledge and want to build community, because it'll be really great to hear other people's stories. I'm just one version. And I'm wearing this shirt about, think marathons are hard. That's cute. Wait for menopause, because I do tons of marathons. I've done maybe 15 marathons since perimenopause started for me. And marathons are easier than menopause. Like, they really are. Okay. So anyway, that's what I'm doing and who I'm looking to appeal to.
That's wonderful. And you mentioned your Facebook group, and viewers can find the information and the link to that Facebook group. I'll have all of that information in the description, as well as the websites for Girls Gone Gazelle and Soul Sisters, so that if anybody wants to check it all out.
Yeah.
The question that came up for me is, you're potentially going to get people registering that will not be able to participate in the local run.
Yeah.
So are you going to lay out a program for them, or just quick instructions by week? Say, this is what you're going to do.
So I've got 2 of my 9 sections completed. It's an outline of what they should do. We have the opportunity to be together once a week. We're going to be on Zoom once a week with our topic, and I've built in time within that Zoom link to also address the physical component, the training component. So we'll lead with the knowledge base, spend an hour on that, and then I booked in another half hour for that. So maybe a topic makes someone uncomfortable, or they think they know everything about it because they've done their own deep dive. So they'll know that they can come in for just, ask training questions at this time, or they can come in for the full meal deal. So.
Perfect. So ladies, what we're saying is, if you're virtually attending these sessions and you're local to the room or to the group or wherever Stacey's going to be holding these runs, that doesn't mean you can't get out and do some things. So that's the important thing. I am a member of the Facebook group, just so my viewers know, and I love the group. Now, I was thrown into menopause quickly because I had a hysterectomy. So my experience is not the same. And even though I have gone through a lot of the symptoms of menopause, I'm still learning. Like, I learned something new today because of a comment and somebody responded with something. So learning from each other is one of the most beautiful things. So I appreciate the fact that you're calling it My Best Friend's Menopause, that group, because we learn best from our friends, and holding hands going through it together is the best way to do that and to build that community. So thank you so much for thinking of all of us doing that. So you mentioned about why you want to do that. What would you say is the single most important thing to you, your why? What do you want to get out of it that's more important than anything else?
I want to inspire women to keep moving and to keep thinking that they're badasses. And if they don't know that they're badasses, I want to convince them of it. And maybe if I say it enough, they might hear it, but maybe if the other women in the group say it, they might hear it. We're our own worst critic, and I want to be there to tell women how great they are. I'm a coach, and I'm not a coach of elite athletes. In fact, I primarily am a coach of youth, because when I tell youth they're amazing, when they've done something hard, I don't just say it. I am not one to tell you you're great just because I have met you and you need to hear it. Well, maybe. What I get from it is I feel really good when I guide someone. I can't wait to help women know they're not going crazy. I mean, these hormonal fluctuations are hard, and you will have, well, not you, I can't speak in absolutes, but there's a lot of anxiety and depression that comes with this time. And then you add on the pandemic. So what do I want? I want to make at least one person feel better, but I'm greedy. So I think I'm gonna make a lot of women feel better by helping them just to understand what's going on. Because even if the advice I give, and I have so much good advice because it was given to me and I implemented it, but even if you don't take any of my advice or any of the structure that I'm going to provide, just having the knowledge that it's not in your head and that these are real symptoms and that we all are on somewhere on this journey, that helps. In fact, I have some crazy symptoms, Deb, and I'm not going to say them right now because you didn't ask about them, but some of them I laugh. I laugh because I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. And then I'm like, but I know it's my hormones. I know it. And that makes it easier when this crazy shit's happening.
Well, it's wonderful that you said that, because the word hormone is used in so many ways. General conversation that people have, and I'm not going to say it's just men that have it, but women do too, and they start blaming things on our hormones, whether it's onset, periods, going through menopause, monthly events, and we over our lifetime, I would be willing to bet there's not a single woman out there who has not been dismissed at some point in her life because somebody has said, it's that time of the month, it's just the menopause, making you feel insignificant in that moment. So I love the fact that you're bringing attention to this. And so the viewers know, just to add support to Stacy's, she doesn't just pay compliments, she does. Still, I can remember running by her in a social and her saying, get your elbows down. And so that voice echoes in my head because it helps. Yeah. It helped me. So your words of wisdom throughout all the socials over time might have been 3 or 4 words at a time, but they have been extremely helpful for me. And I remember the conversation you and I had when I told you I didn't consider myself an athlete, and we'll just
well, please invite me back, because you're so fierce and strong, and you've done so much, and the idea that you are naturally calling yourself an athlete is mind-boggling.
So what we'll do is after your session is over, maybe we'll come back and we'll have another chat about some of the wonderful lessons learned and the takeaways, and perhaps some of the feedback from the people that have taken the course, the ladies who have taken the course, and just so that people know that there are resources out there, there are people out there. So, I mean, we have a lot to learn from each other, and supporting each other is key. And information like this, it becomes another tool in our toolkit to help us reach our goal of being the healthiest version of ourselves possible and living that kick-ass life. I want to thank you for joining me. And Stacy, do you have any last words?
Well, I just want to thank everyone that tuned in and watched this. We live in a really busy world, and I'm glad that you're on a journey, that you're looking for knowledge. So thank you for listening to us, and listen more, come in and join us.
And the fact that there might be some men watching this video, watch. And because your support and knowledge will help the significant other in your life that might be going through menopause.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining me. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.